one of the secrets to making really high converting content is so freaking unorthodox. And I wish somebody would have sat me down and taught me this years ago, because it would have saved me so much frustration and time of trying to figure out the thing that works. And I'm going to share with you here in this video today what has, I would say, single-handedly helped me be able to just create better content. And as a side effect, it allows me to be able to connect with the right people, and it allows me to go deeper with the right people, and it allows me to convert the right people into becoming long-term clients. And so before I dive into that, quick backstory is most people know me as like the strategic content guy, right? Like, and I had accidentally figured this out. You know, I had sold my gym in like right when COVID started. I mean, I'm just going to be transparent here. Like, I made $0 from it. Like, we made a few dollars, more than zero, but pretty much like a fire sale, if you will. And so I walked away from something that I spent about 7.5, 8 years building, blood, sweat, and tears. And I really didn't make like anything from it, except this. I was able to take skills. I was able to take character traits that were developed in building that gym. It was kind of like a dojo. I was able to take like systems and things that I learned how to build, and that you can't replace. And so when I went into my online fitness business, which I started around 2019, thankfully, I had already started it to grow it. And so like 2020, I went all in on it, and I was able to grow it really quickly to multiple six figures. And I remember like first of all, I feel like it was much easier then than it probably is now. So I want to like definitely highlight that and show you some of the things that I have learned recently that have helped me grow in these times. But during that time, like, I remember like so many people were coming online, so it really felt like hard, if you will, because there was a lot of competition popping in all at once. And so I remember like my content would get really good engagement after a while. Like when I first started, it got nothing, and then like after about 6 to 8 months, I was getting decent engagement, having like 300 to 500, sometimes 1,000 people watching my videos and my live videos on Facebook and engaging with my content. But I was having a hard time like consistently converting people. Like some months I'd do 5K, some months I would do 10K, some months I would do 20K, but it was like up and down and all around, and it was honestly stressful, and it was burning me the heck out. And then like one day I made this post, and it popped off, man. I got hundreds of comments. I had like 12, 13, maybe 14 pretty quality leads in my Facebook Messenger DMing me. And I had like, that day I had like looked at what I was doing for that entire month, and I had tried another post that was similar with a similar call to action, and another one. And I remember that's when I took off, and I that month, within the next 30 days, I'd signed like 11 or 12 people. I had made, I think, $33,383 was the exact dollar amount. I still remember it. And that's when things really started to click. And I developed this entire content framework and system. And it evolved. It used to be called the C5 framework for live video. And then I recognized, like, holy crap, this framework is really good for just content in general. And that's kind of spiraled over the last 3.5 years to what we call the client attraction system. And so I share all that because, like, it is important to have the skills. It is important to have the right systems in place so that you're attracting more clients. It's important to have the right messaging in place, right? So you do have to know how to write a good hook, a good headline. You do have to know how to tell a good story. You do have to know how to, give a good call to action, right? You do have to know those skills. But here's what I want to get to, and here's the point of the video. One thing that I learned is that when you are truly authentic, like you show up as your true self, not hiding behind any mask, not hiding behind anything, is where you'll get the most bang for your buck. Because we're in a time right now where I think I just had like a mosquito fly at my nose. So oh well, I'm not gonna cut. I'm talking about authentic stuff on this video, so I'm definitely not gonna cut that out. But you'll get the most bang for your buck, because the world right now that we're living in is craving authenticity. There's so many people out there, like we're in this stage of like the market sophistication right? Where people are like, everybody's saying the same claims: lose 20 pounds without dieting, eat your favorite foods, right? Make 30K per month. Like, everybody's saying the same stuff. And rightfully so, because like you have a product and you know what results it can do. But it's hard for people to make decisions and trust people, because like everybody, like marketing in itself, like the only difference between a marketer and a con man is a marketer, a true marketer is going to deliver on what the marketing promises. A con man won't, right? And so marketing in itself can feel a bit kind of pushy for the way most people do it. And so I think when you could show up and just be purely authentic and speak your message the way you know it's true, it's going to attract more people. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, I've struggled with this, like, just to be honest with you, like I've struggled with this where I'll show up more as a performer a lot of times. And I would say that's like my shadow. I'll try to put on a performance, and it's not like that I'm lying or anything, but I'm not really showing my authentic self. Like, I'm not truly, sharing my values or my beliefs. And sometimes I'm afraid to share bits of my story because I think it'll scare people off, and I think we all get to pick and choose what we share and what we don't share. But I think the more we can be fully seen, the more people can truly connect to us. And so some of the things that like I have done, and I've been really intentional about doing this in my content, is sharing more of like my origin stories, right? Sharing the origin story in a way that I know is going to connect with people, and giving people that same kind of that light bulb moment, that epiphany. So I want you to think back. I want you to think to like, why do you do what you do? Why are you in the industry that you're in? You know what I mean? And how can you be able to share the story in a short, concise, but yet impactful way, to where you're bringing people in, and it's called episodic storytelling, right? So where you bring people into the moment with you, and it helps create that trust with people, because most people are out there just trying to sell stuff. But when you can like share like why you're in what you're in, right? So like I often share the story about like me being stressed out of my mind. I was bouncing between 5 and 15K per month, and I honestly didn't know if I was able to. I thought I was going to have to get another job, because it was just so unpredictable, and I needed to provide for my family. And I remember sitting down with my wife one day and just being like, man, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I want to continue to do this. And right, so it's like you bring people into the episode with you, so they are like, dang, I've had similar experiences. And now they know why you do what you do, and you've been able to create resonance with them, right? And then, if you have like a unique mechanism, if you will, or if you have a unique way of doing things, I call it a unique mechanism story. You could share like, I shared just a bit in the beginning of this video, like how I came up with this client attraction system, right? It was from like this initial post that I made, and then I studied it and I kept repeating it. And, 3.5 years later, I've, really dialed this in. And so obviously I can bring people deeper into that story, but you get my point. I share like how I invented it. I did the same when I was in fitness. I shared like the story of how I figured out what I call the stubborn fat solution, right? And I shared the story about me being electrocuted as a firefighter, and how during recovery, I shared all the bits and pieces of it, how I decided I was going to get healthy and fit again. So I was 53 pounds overweight. And I brought my audience into the actual real life story of how it happened. But from a skill perspective, you do want to do it in a way where it is impactful and does create resonance with people, but it should be true. So like, there's like really telling that story, and then there's going to be like personal everyday stories that you could share. Like I just recently did a video. We were going through Hurricane Milton. I did a video connecting the story and what I'm doing to prepare, and like I gave actionable tips for people to make it valuable, right? But you could share stories about things that are actually happening with you. And then the second big thing is showing up and sharing your beliefs. Like, what are your beliefs and your convictions about just what you do and how you help people? Like when I could show up and like share that like your messaging is absolutely freaking the pinnacle of everything that you do in marketing. And if you don't truly dial in your messaging and create these unique mechanisms and these big ideas that you can give to your niche, to your audience, you're going to struggle with marketing, right? If I don't sit there and like share my beliefs about what I do, and like how I discover those beliefs, right? It's like, it's not right for like people won't actually get the same epiphanies. You know, the world is bombarded with how-to information. There's no shortage of content on the internet, right? People are out there teaching their hearts out. You can go onto YouTube and freaking find it everywhere. And there's no shortage of information. And so we want to be able to share these things from a place of like true conviction and true belief, right? I remember like telling my audience back when I was in fitness, like, guys, like it's not about eating healthy. It's about eating right. So like you can eat, you know, a salad every day and be like, I'm dieting, but you're not losing weight. It's about actually, you know, eating the right amount of calories, eating the right proportions for your body, you know, eating the right foods that are sustainable. And when I got people to like truly get into my beliefs and my convictions, it gave them a bridge to come and buy from me. And the way I sell my beliefs is I share stories. I share real in the trenches stories of how like I learned this stuff. And it allows people to go through a story with you, through a narrative, and allows them to be able to like at least see and have those same epiphanies that you had. And the third major thing that you could do here is like just sharing more of your values, like what you believe in, what you stand against, right? What you stand for, and just share more of those like values in your content and in your marketing, right? So like I stand against aggressive sales tactics. Like I've always had an issue with it. I remember having like, you know, gurus in the past years ago tell me to do 100 DMs a day and just send these like spammy messages, and I never did. I never felt right with it, you know? Or I've had like, you know, mentors that were like super aggressive salesmen, and they would tell me to like do these sales pitches, and it just never felt right to me, right? And so like living by my values, I can say I'm going to build a business that's around attraction marketing, right? I'm going to build a business that I share with people what I am learning and what I do. And some people are going to hate that. Some people want to be aggressive and salesy and spammy, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what their values are. They believe that. But then there's people that are going to resonate with me and be like, I also don't believe in that aggressiveness, and my values are to be able to be more nurturing, and I want to, you know, I want to help inspire and motivate people, and I want to empower people, and I want, you know, I want to learn how to do more of what you're doing, right? But that's only going to come through by you actually sharing your true values with people. You know, you can also talk more about like what you stand against, you know, what you stand for. You can go into depth of that. You can talk about like the deeper purpose of why you do what you do as it relates to your audience. You know, I could talk about like, I remember my business, the first time we crossed over $100,000 per month. I remember like being so stressed out that I literally burned my business down. You know, I let go like a good portion of my team at the time. My dog's back there eating something. I don't know what. Something that she shouldn't be eating. But I remember like sitting down and working and being on Zoom calls all day, I had like a 2 meetings on Monday with my team. I had a client success meeting on Tuesdays. I had a setter and sales meeting on Wednesday. I had another meeting on Friday. I literally would have meetings pretty much every day of the week, and then I would be slammed with calls. And I remember being like, this is not the kind of business that I want to run. And so it was really getting clear on like, I really want to work 4 to 5 hours a day. And if I choose to work more, that's cool. But like, I want to be able to like end my day so I could spend more time with my kids. I could spend more time with my family versus having to be like working all of the freaking time, because that was a big problem for me. So when you could share stuff like that with your audience, and you're going to have people that truly resonate with you. And it's essentially you just allowing yourself to be fully seen for who you are. And I'm certainly not perfect at this right now by any means, right? And so I think all of us, this is the journey that we're on, you know, especially as coaches. It's like, how can we allow ourselves to just be who we are, allow our essence, allow who we truly are at the core to be the content. You know what I'm saying? And anyways, that's, I can belabor this topic, but that was on my mind today. That's something that I'm currently on a journey of, is continuing to allow myself to be fully me, fully seen for who I am online. And some people will resonate with that, some people won't. And so that's my challenge for you today. Look at where you can share more of your stories. You can share more of your beliefs. You could share more of your values in an honest, in an authentic way. And just watch the impact that it has in your marketing. Watch the impact that it has in your audience, and watch the impact that it has in your business. If you found this video helpful, make sure to click subscribe and leave a comment. I'd love to know if this resonated with you, what your biggest insights, what your biggest takeaways were. Drop it down below. As always, remember, your message matters. Don't be afraid to speak it. Be seen, be heard, and be impactful.